If you want to create realistic animations or create environments that look realistic, then using physics is sure as hell is gonna make a huge difference. That's why in this video, I tried to find the best Blender add-ons for physics which are gonna help you place objects, animate vehicles, characters, and so on. But before we continue, I wanna let you guys know that the Blender market is going over a huge winter sale right now, with 25% off thousands of products from add-ons, modifier setups, courses, and more. And by the way, if you don't know where to start, I have in the description of this video a list of some of the best Blender add-ons out there. Without further ado, let's jump right in. We're gonna start with Physics Placer. As you may know, setting up physics for scattered objects can be a pain. You either spend forever placing things manually, or keep tweaking simulations that never quite behave the way that you want. So Physics Placer can make this way easier by letting you drop objects into place, and you can do that dynamically with real-time physics. You can just pick your object, assign collision surfaces, and use a force field to move them around. It is kind of like an invisible magnet pulling things into place. You can drop stuff with gravity, push them around for a natural look, or even give them some velocity if you want things to roll or scatter more realistically. And once everything is where you want it to be, you can bake the physics so they can stay in place. This is super handy for cluttered environments, rocks on a path, books on a shelf, debris in a scene, and so on. Basically, anything where manual placement would be tedious. Instead of nudging objects one by one, you let this add-on do the job for you. But when it comes to moving objects, especially vehicles, you might want to take a look at RBC, which is gonna help you add physics to animating vehicles. As you may know, rigging vehicles in Blender can get complicated really fast, but RBC add-on simplifies that by automating most of the setup. So instead of manually setting up constraints, rigging bodies, and physics properties, all you need to do is separate the car's body and the wheels before setting things up in the interface. And once everything is defined, you can generate the rig and can start adjusting settings like turn radius, suspension stiffness, and tire friction to fine-tune the driving experience. I mean, whether you want realistic car physics or something more stylized, you can find plenty of room for tweaking. And the Pro version adds even more control, including detailed tuning options and gamepad support for direct driving input. I would say the key to setting a good result is making sure that your car model is prepped properly. The wheels and the body need to be separated, and the model should be facing the right direction, and if you get that right, the RBC add-on can give you great results to create good looking animations really fast. In a similar vein, we have launch control. So if you've ever tried animating a car with full physics and had some problems, then launch control might save you some headaches. Instead of relying entirely on physics, which can be unpredictable, this add-on lets you animate the car first, then add physics effects on top. You see, before you can rig anything, you have a bit of a problem. You have to name every object properly, which is necessary. The add-on expects 5 objects, the body in addition to 4 wheels, and they need to be named correctly. Something like body for the car, wheel_FL for the front left wheel, and so on. And if the names aren't right, the add-on will not know what is what, and you will just get errors. It is kind of a hassle, but it is important. And once everything is named properly, you can apply the scale and rotation. Then click Rig Vehicle and the add-on automatically sets everything up. From there, you can animate the car along a path. And if needed, you can add the physics to handle things like weight shifts, acceleration tilts, in addition to suspension movements. And since the physics never override your keyframed animation, you can avoid weird glitches and broken rigs. There are also built presets for things like drifting and racing, in addition to options to tweak suspension, weight distribution, and tire ground interaction. And if full physics rigs have ever given you trouble, I think this add-on will make things more manageable. At the same time, it will keep things looking realistic. Now, what about characters? That's why we're gonna talk about an add-on called Ragdoll Tools. Character physics can be tricky, but Ragdoll Tools makes it way easier. It takes a regular rig and turns it into a physics-driven one by generating hitboxes around the bones and linking them with constraints. This means characters can react naturally to gravity, collisions, or external forces without needing tons of manual animation. You can actually fine-tune how rigid or flexible different body parts are, in addition to adjusting weight distribution and even baking animation back onto the rig. This is great for stuff like characters falling realistically, in addition to collapsing on impact or reacting dynamically in a scene. So instead of keyframing every little movement, you can let physics do the work for you and then tweak it as needed. The Addon works best if your character's rig is clean and it is well structured. And if the bones are messy, the simulation can act weird. But once you set it up, it's gonna be a great way to mix physics with hand-keyed animations for more realistic animations. Another add-on that is becoming popular recently is called AutoRig and Ragdoll Wizard. In a similar vein to the previous add-on, if you want something more automated, this add-on might be what you need, because it is all about speed. It rigs a character and sets up a ragdoll system almost instantly, making it a great choice if you don't want to deal with a bunch of manual setup. You see, you can generate an armature with inverse kinematics and automatic weight transfer just by clicking a button. The same goes for ragdoll creation. You can just select the object, hit generate ragdoll, tweak the settings, and you are good to go. Everything runs in real time, so you can quickly test simulations, duplicate ragdolls, or even create hundreds of clowns without waiting around. Beyond characters, this add-on also supports soft body simulations for things like vehicles and vegetation, and realistic deformation effects without extra setup. It even handles destruction effects, which is a nice bonus if you're working on visual effects. Compared to Ragdoll Tools, this one is more of a click-and-go solution. That is, if you need a fast way to set up physics without fine-tuning every detail. So this gets the job done, whether you are making video game assets or animated scenes. Another add-on when it comes to physics is called Bonedynamics Pro. You see, the process of using this add-on starts with placing bones, then weight painting, then finally hitting the magic button provided by this tool. First, you can find physics presets to select and you can enable bone stretching or chain mode, and then bake the animation. In the edit mode, you can start by adding some bones in the areas of the mesh where we're gonna add physics to. And the more bones you add, the more realistic and physically accurate the results will be. The good thing is that there is an option for weight painting for each bone manually, and then you can fine-tune it using the gradient tool in the weight paint mode. By starting the animation, you can tweak the bone dynamic settings in real time, and at the same time, you can check whether you did a good job in the weight painting department, or else, if there is some clipping in the animation, you can pause it at any frame and adjust the weights until you are happy with the results. From the same developer, we have another add-on called Simplicage, which is also a physics-related add-on that can be used smoothly along with Bonedynamics Pro. In short, Simplicage helps you generate collision boxes and physics-ready cages from mesh, in addition to bones or vertex groups. The add-on is really fun to use. Let's say, for example, you need a part of the character's body to have collision. You can either do it using bones or vertex groups, and either way, you just need to select the part of your character that needs collision, then hit create collision box, and that's it. If your model isn't high poly, I advise you to uncheck remesh in order to get faster results. The same goes for soft bodies. You can either do it using bones in case that you are working on a rigged model, or just go with a vertex group in a similar process. And although the add-on isn't free, it comes with a free version that you can try to give you the ability to generate the physics boxes from a single bone. And there you have it, guys. If you are interested in these add-ons, you will find all the necessary links in the description. I hope you guys found this video useful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can also check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.